Do you want to build good habits, but find it hard to continue? Maybe you want to wake up early, exercise every day, or build a reading habit. You start with strong willpower, but after a few days, you stop. Why does this happen? In today's video, we will talk about how to build habits effectively. You will learn why willpower is not enough, how your identity shapes your habits, and how small actions can create big results. This method is simple, practical, and works for everyday life. In this video, we will learn in two parts. First, I will explain the main ideas about habits in simple and clear English. Second, we will learn some key words that help you understand the topic. We will review these words together, and you can practice in the comments. So even if you are learning English, you can follow step by step. If you stay until the end, you will understand how to build habits and learn useful English at the same time. Are you ready? Let's begin. Most people try to change their habits, but they forget one important thing: changing their identity. Psychology shows that actions that do not match our identity usually do not last. Instead of forcing yourself to be disciplined, you can use identity as a powerful tool. You may have heard that it takes 21 days to build a habit. In fact, this idea is wrong. Today, I will share something more powerful: atomic habits. First, let's talk about why the idea, "it takes 21 days to build a habit," is wrong. This idea goes back to 1960. A plastic surgeon named Maxwell Maltz noticed something interesting. After surgery, his patients needed about 21 days to get used to their new appearance. He also found that after a person lost a limb, the phantom limb feeling usually disappeared after about 21 days. People who moved to a new house also needed about 21 days before it felt like home. Dr. Maltz wrote about these observations in his 1960 book Psychocybernetics. Over the past 60 years, the book has sold more than 35 million copies worldwide. It also became a reference for many motivational speakers, such as Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy. Later, seminars, TV shows, and self-help programs spread the idea that a new habit takes 21 days to form. This became a common belief. However, this idea was only a doctor's observation. It was not based on strict scientific research. So, is there other research about forming habits? Yes, there is. And it actually disproves the 21 days idea. In 2009, a team led by psychologist Philippa Lally at University College London did a study. They recruited 96 volunteers and ran a 12-week experiment on habits. Their conclusion was that forming a new habit depends on the person. It can take anywhere from 18 days to 254 days, not just 21 days. Today, I'm sharing the key ideas from the book Atomic Habits. I'll explain the basic principles of habits and give you practical steps to follow. It's no surprise that since its release in 2019, this book has stayed in the top 10 bestsellers for 6 years and held the #1 spot for 4 years straight. If you haven't read it, that's okay, I've read it. Today, I'll share the secrets of habits with you. All right, if your brain is ready, let's get started. And if you enjoy this kind of knowledge-sharing show, please subscribe or join as a member. Do you also want to wake up early, exercise 30 minutes a day, or learn new skills? It's easy to do these things for a day or two, but keeping it up can feel really hard, right? There are two main reasons why changing habits is difficult. First, we focus on the wrong things when trying to change. Second, we use the wrong methods to change our habits. Let's talk about focusing on the wrong things. When people try to change habits, they usually focus on 3 levels. The first level is focusing on outcomes. This means setting goals like, I want to lose 10 kilograms. It's about what you get. The second level is focusing on the process. This means the actions you take to reach your goals, like, I will run 20 minutes every day to lose weight. It's about what you do. The third level is focusing on identity. This means what you believe about yourself. For example, I am a person who loves to exercise, so I go running. It's about what you believe. Many people fail to build new habits because they follow the wrong order. From results to process to identity. For example, I want to wake up early, so I set an alarm, then I will become an early riser. But the easiest way to build habits is the opposite. You should start with identity. Think about who you want to become. Then decide what you will do, and finally achieve the results. The book gives an interesting example about quitting smoking. Two people want to quit. One focuses on results, and the other focuses on identity. One day, someone offers a cigarette to person A. But says, "No, thank you, I'm trying to quit." This sounds reasonable, but A will probably fail. Now let's look at person B. Someone offers a cigarette to B. B says, "No, thank you, I don't smoke." In the end, B successfully quits. What does this show? A's answer shows that he still sees himself as a smoker who is trying to quit. But B's answer shows that smoking is part of his past. It is no longer part of his life. B no longer sees himself as a smoker. Which person do you think is more likely to succeed? Most people try to improve their habits, but they do not think about changing their identity. Psychology shows that behaviors that do not match our identity usually do not last. Ask yourself if this sounds like you. You want to lose weight, but if you still see yourself as a fat person, you will keep eating more and find it hard to control your diet. Can you really lose weight this way? Or maybe you want to become rich, but you see yourself as someone who spends money instead of creating income. Then you will keep spending more instead of earning more. Can you become rich like that? You have new goals and plans, but you have not accepted yourself as the person who can reach those goals. So, one key psychological skill for building good habits is to start with identity. The goal is not to read one book, but to become a reader. The goal is not to run every morning, but to become a runner. But be careful, wanting to become that kind of person is one thing. Believing that you already are that kind of person is another. This method only works when you truly feel, deep inside, that this is your identity. So the question is, if this is not your identity yet, how can you believe it? How is identity formed in the first place? Understanding this is very important. Simply put, your identity comes from what you do repeatedly. If you brush your teeth, take a shower, and change your clothes every day, you can say you are a clean and tidy person. If you go to church every week for 20 years without stopping, you will see yourself as a faithful person. You feel sure about your identity because you have proof from your actions. In the past, I never thought I could make videos. I was not good at speaking, and I was very shy. To call myself a YouTuber felt impossible. But after creating content continuously over time, I slowly began to accept the identity of a YouTuber. In other words, your daily actions build your identity. But you need to repeat these actions and collect enough evidence before your self-identity becomes strong. You would not play basketball once and then say you are a basketball player. Habits and identity support each other. Each action you repeat is like a small message. Hey, maybe I am this kind of person. So, the most practical way to become a certain kind of person is to do the things that person would do. One of the author's friends wanted to lose weight. He kept asking himself, what would a healthy person do? Would a healthy person walk or take a taxi? Would they order a burrito or a salad? In the end, he successfully lost 100 pounds. So, habits and identity form a smooth cycle. Habits shape your identity, and identity shapes your habits. You don't need to force yourself. Everything begins to happen more naturally. This is the core psychological idea in Atomic Habits. But why is it called Atomic Habits? There is a reason for that. The term atomic habits was introduced by habit expert James Clear in his 2019 book Atomic Habits. The word atomic has two meanings, small and systematic. Small means an atom is the smallest basic unit of matter. Systematic means atoms work together to build everything we see. When I was a child, my parents took me to the beach to build sandcastles. Each sandcastle was made of many tiny grains of sand. Each grain was small and seemed unimportant. But it was necessary to build the sandcastle. From the idea of atoms, the author explains a deeper meaning of habits. Habits are like the rules of our lives. Each small habit may seem unimportant, but when they build up together, they create amazing power. Day by day, small habits become daily actions. And these actions shape your whole life. This is related to something called the compound effect. People often think that big life changes come from big decisions. But we don't make big decisions very often. Instead, small actions slowly build up and shape our future. The author has a famous idea. Success comes from daily habits, not from rare, life-changing moments. If you improve by 1% every day, after 1 year you will be about 37 times better. But if you get worse by 1% every day, after 1 year you will be close to zero. This is the compound effect. In finance, we call it interest on interest. The compound effect is a double-edged sword. If you read one book, you learn one new idea. If you read 10,000 books, you gain wisdom. But if you think one negative thought, you feel some anxiety. If you think 10,000 negative thoughts, your life can become very pessimistic. So when building habits, we must avoid the dangerous side. After hearing all this, you may still wonder what to do next, right? Next, I will share 4 simple steps. The process of building a habit has 4 steps. Cue, craving, response, and reward. Every habit goes through these 4 steps. Step 1, cue. Cue is a signal that triggers a behavior. Researchers did a 6-month experiment in a busy hospital cafeteria. They wanted to see if environmental cues could influence people's choices. At first, bottled water was placed in an unnoticeable corner, and very few people chose it. Later, the researchers moved the water to visible places, such as next to each food station. Sugary drinks were still there, but the water was easier to see. After 3 months, soda sales dropped by 11.4%. And bottled water sales increased by 25.8%. Some people even began to choose healthier drinks automatically. During the whole experiment, the researchers never spoke to the customers. This shows that habit change depends on visible cues. To make a habit easier, make the cue obvious. If you want to build a reading habit, don't hide your book in a shelf. Put it on a table where you can open it easily. If you want to learn guitar, don't keep it in the case. Place it on a stand next to the sofa. Clear visual cues can guide your attention to the habits you want to build. Step 2, craving. Craving is the motivation behind every habit. Without craving, there is no reason to act. To make a habit easier, you need to make it attractive. One strategy is called temptation bundling. This means you connect a habit you want with something you really enjoy. In Ireland, an engineering student loved watching Netflix. He wanted to exercise more, so he modified his exercise bike. He connected it to his laptop and TV, and Netflix would only play when he pedaled at a certain speed. If he slowed down too much, the show stopped, because he loved Netflix so much. This temptation bundling helped him stay fit. Of course, you don't need to write code or build machines. If you combine a habit with something you love, you will slowly find the habit more attractive. For example, if you love music, play your favorite playlist while cleaning. You may begin to enjoy cleaning time. If you love coffee, go to a nice cafe each time you study. Without noticing, you may become addicted to learning. If you are not sure where to start, you can use this simple formula. After I do the habit I want to build, I will do something I enjoy. If I do something I enjoy, I will not skip the habit. In other words, break the task into small parts. For example, turn studying into reading one page. Read one page, take a sip of coffee, enjoy it, read another page. Repeat this cycle, and you will see the habit begin to form. Step 3. Make the action easy. The key to building a habit is repetition. People often ask, how long does it take? 21 days, 1 month, 1 year. In fact, it is not about the number of days. It is about how often you repeat the behavior, which builds a habit faster. Doing something 10 times in 30 days, or 100 times in 3 days. Of course, 100 times. So how can you repeat many times without feeling tired or bored? The answer is the law of least effort. Every action uses energy. If something requires a lot of effort, you won't want to do it. If it requires little effort, it becomes easier to do. Why do you fail every time you start a new habit? Because you try to do it in a high-distraction environment. For example, reading next to your phone, controlling your diet at parties, or exercising at home, full of entertainment. You should start new habits in a place without distractions. Make your brain feel that the action is easy. Besides the law of least effort, you can use the 2-minute rule. If you want to build a reading habit, read just 1 page. If you want to do push-ups, start with 5 or 10. Keep each new habit under 2 minutes at the beginning. Step 4. Make the reward satisfying. The first 3 steps increase the chance that you do the behavior once. A satisfying reward increases the chance that you repeat it next time. To design an effective reward, one condition is immediate satisfaction. Compared to future benefits, the human brain prefers happiness right now. For example, after exercising, you can reward yourself with a relaxing bath. Or each time you choose a healthy meal, you can save a small amount of money in a future treat fund. These rewards help you feel that the habit is worth it. But be careful, the reward must not conflict with your identity. For example, if you exercise and then reward yourself with fried food, you act like a healthy person first, but then like an unhealthy person. A better way is to choose a reward that matches your identity. After exercising, you could reward yourself with a warm glass of milk. It fits your identity and gives you immediate comfort. You may ask, if I reward myself every time, won't it cost a lot of money? In fact, these rewards are temporary. When you build habits in a stress-free and positive environment, you will begin to feel an internal reward. This means your identity itself makes you feel good. At that point, the habit becomes part of your life, and you no longer need external rewards. Because building identity needs evidence from action, and action needs immediate rewards to keep going. So before your new identity is fully formed, rewards help strengthen your motivation. Why is it so hard to build good habits? When I first started exercising, my body showed almost no change in the first 3 months. I was not very hardworking, but I told myself to keep going. After 3 months, I suddenly noticed muscle in my arms. Habits have a hidden period. At the beginning, you may not see results. Many people give up during this stage. The book shares a story from social reformer Jacob Rez. He said that when all efforts seem useless, he watches a stonecutter hitting a rock. He may hit the rock 100 times without a crack. But on the 101st hit, the rock splits in two. It was not the last hit that broke the rock, but all the hits before it. People often expect progress to be linear. They want to feel they are moving forward every time. But results often come late. At the beginning, you may fall into the valley of disappointment and feel frustrated and want to quit. However, if you push through this stage, your earlier efforts were not wasted. They were building up and finally lead to a breakthrough. Many people's success looks sudden, but it is actually the result of steady effort over time. Now, let's review together. From today's lesson, we have selected 11 keywords to help you understand the main ideas. These words are very useful for talking about habits and personal growth. Let's look at them one more time. Today's keywords are atomic. Atomic means very small, like the smallest part of something, but very powerful. Atoms are tiny, but they build everything. We talked about atomic habits today. Atomic habits are very small habits that create big changes over time. For example, reading one page every day is an atomic habit. Drinking one more glass of water daily is an atomic habit. Habit. A habit is something you do regularly without thinking. For example, brushing your teeth is a habit. Reading before bed can become a good habit. Exercising every morning can become a healthy habit. Drinking water instead of soda is a good habit. Identity. Identity is how you see yourself. For example, you may see yourself as a healthy person. Your habits can shape your identity. Repeat. Repeat means to do something again and again. For example, repeat this word to remember it. You need to repeat the action every day. Action. An action is something you do. For example, small actions can change your life. Taking action is better than waiting. Reward. A reward is something good you get after doing something. For example, I give myself a reward after studying. A small reward can help build habits. Cue. Cue is a signal that reminds you to do something. For example, my alarm is a cue to wake up. Seeing my book is a cue to start reading. Craving. Craving is a strong desire for something. For example, I have a craving for sweet food. Craving can make habits stronger. Motivation. Motivation is the reason you want to do something. For example, music gives me motivation to exercise. What is your motivation to learn English? Progress. Progress means improvement over time. For example, I see progress in my speaking skills. Small steps lead to big progress. Compound effect. The compound effect means small actions add up to big results over time. For example, saving money daily shows the compound effect. Good habits create a compound effect in life. Try to remember them and use them in your daily life. Learning new words is like building a habit. If you repeat them often, they will become part of your language. Now I have a question for you. Which word is new for you today? Write it in the comments. And one more question. What habit do you want to build? Try to answer in English. I'd love to read your answers. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.